today. Welcome to Boxing with TT. And before we start our video, I want to say thank you to my viewers, my subscribers. Thank you to the comments. Thank you for the likes and the share. If you didn't know, you're about to find out that your girl got a Facebook page, Boxing with TT. My Instagram is Boxing with TT. It's the same exact way, boxing /with/TT. Okay? Now, we're going to get into this boxing juice with Mr. Old Chocolate, aka George Godfrey. Now let's get into it. Now, at 1852, William Godfrey is a laborer, and Sarah Mayers have 6 kids, and they get married. At 1853, Mr. Godfrey George is born out of the 6 children. Okay. And he is born in Bong, Canada, or Prince Edward Island. It's a poor part of Charlestown, West End, and it's basically where blacks descended from slavery came to. And pretty much this was the hood. People did anything and everything to get a dollar. Talking about prostitution, we talking about bootlegging, and pretty much just minor crimes, okay? The first boxer instructor that Mr. George had was a guy named Dick Kreiner. At 1870, they moved to Boston, and now George is working as a porter. And he engages into certain sports. He engages into baseball. He engages to gymnastics. But he still has an interest in boxing, so he takes boxing lessons. And he decides to take boxing lessons with the Professor Bailey. At 1872, February the 6th, he goes on to marry his first wife, Miss Hannah Allen, in Boston as well. At 1874, he remarries a young lady by the name of Clara Jane Forbes. They go on to have 4 children, and he has a daughter, Amanda Godfrey Bucker Mayer. Okay, she passes away at the age of 25. He then has George Godfrey Jr., and he passes away at the age of 53 in 1930. Then he has Charles Godfrey, who passes away at the age of 20 or 21 in 1901. And then he has another child, Daisy Scott. She passes away at 1935 at the age of 53. And this is the only one that I seen that leaves actually 3 children behind. And the siblings of all 6 of them, I was only able to find 2 sibling names, which was Mary and James. Mary passes away in 1894. James passes away in 1926. Okay. Now, George Godfrey is a prize fighter. He debuts in 1797. At 27, standing at 5'10" and a half and weighing only 175 pounds, which would be considered today as a lightweight, but he was a heavyweight back then, okay? He defeats Joe Donsery, Moses Laborn, Tommy Williams, and these are due to KOs, okay? He then goes on to face Jake Kirkrain, Charles Hadley, and it comes as a draw for each, okay? He fought them twice, and when he fought them twice, they both was draws. So his record is 4 wins, 0 losses, 4 draws, okay? Stay with me. And it is stated to have 100 bouts in 16 years. And I believe that even though it was reported that he had, I think like 44 bouts, I think the other ones that was estimated was unknown people, okay? In 1879, he defeats Charles Hadley by a KO in a local boxing competition. And this makes him to be claiming that he's the heavyweight champion. I'm sorry, heavyweight colored champion. Okay. Now, back then, the colored people had to actually compete in the competition. Otherwise, like the white people, they could just pretty much call out whoever they wanted to fight. But with the colored people, you had to actually show that you had what it took. So to be a heavyweight champion, so you would have to fight in competitions. Okay. In 1881, February the 22nd, he defeats Charles Godfrey. September, he is supposed to face John L. Sullivan, and he checks out the match. He does not want no smoke. Absolutely not. At 1882, there's a draw match against Charles Hadley, June 26. The draw match also is with Jake Kirkland. Sorry. Godfrey goes on and defeats other unknown people, okay, which is not on the record. So this is, I don't know if it was just him, people just calling him out, because of the name that he's making for himself, or if it was in expeditions or what it was, but there was other people that he would go on to fight. It's just not recorded. It's just not recorded in the reports, okay? At 1883, he goes to New York, January the 18th, and there's another draw against Hadley. And in that same day, he goes to Boston, okay, and he knocks out Harry Allen. So, I don't know. I guess he had the funds to go to, New York to Boston real quick. And since I couldn't knock you out and this was by a draw, I'm going to just go ahead and knock Mr. Allen out. And that's what the heck he going to do. February the 22nd, in the 6th round, he TKs Hadley. Okay. And now this makes George to be claimed the color heavyweight champion of the world. And what do you know? Out of every referee that they could find, John Sullivan is the referee. Anywho, moving right along. At 1888, January the 24th, George knocks out Mick Henry Johnson 3 times, okay? And he gets himself actually disqualified due to, just what the sources are saying, due to him beating him like a punching bag. I don't know, maybe Mr. George was having a bad day that day. I don't know what the heck happened, but he was beating him like a punching bag. And then the decision got reversed, okay? And he does win by a KO. And once again, y'all, John Sullivan is the referee. My eyebrow was itching on that part. May 14th, he challenges John again. And John is like, absolutely not. John Sullivan, in his career, does not face any black guys. If he does, because I will be doing a video on him, I will definitely let you guys know. But from what I'm reading, and any books that I have read, any sources that I've pulled up, they all say that he just does not fight any black men. Point blank, period. He doesn't care if you're the best in the world. We're going to get to that. Okay? We're going to get to that. But him not taking on challenging George hurts George because it stops the color line. Okay? George understood the assignment. George knew that if he went on to fight John and defeat John, that it was nothing else to be spoken about as far as being a colored heavyweight champion. You couldn't really, it would be hard for people to deny colored people to fight heavyweight champions later on down the line. Even though he tried to break down that barrier, they just would not let him get it. And he like I said, he understand the assignment, okay? And he remains the champion until August 24th of 1888 in San Francisco to Peter Jackson, okay, in a 19-round match, and he is 36. But this fight didn't just hurt him, with a TKO. It also hurt his pockets because it was $2,000. It was $2,000 up on this match. So if he would have beat him, Peter, George would have took home 2,000 from this match. Okay, but he does not let this stop him. He continues on fighting throughout of 1887 to 1889, and he loses by points. He loses by no contest, or he loses by just draw. So from 87 to 89, nobody knocks this man out. He just loses by bullcrap, pretty much. And February the 4th, 1889, there is a draw contest against Joan Lannon, okay, with John Sullivan as the referee. One more game, okay? March the 28th, 1889, George defeats Jack Wanup. And November 7th, George knocks out Jack Austin in the 14th round, straight hit to the jaw. Okay? Left hand hit to the jaw. Knock move one out. 1890, May 8th, he defeats Pasty Cardiff in round 16 by a knockout. In November 25th, in the same year, he defeats Denver Ed Smith 23 rounds by a knockout. At 1891, March 13th, George loses this time to Jake Kilrain in a 44 round. And this round lasts for 2 hours and 53 minutes. It's just stated that he just, the last time he got knocked out, or when he did get knocked out, it just stated that he just was like, yeah, no, I can't continue. I can't go on. And that's just what it is. And he has about 9 more fights after moving to Baltimore, November 11th, 1895. And when he goes to Bmore, he goes with battle victories, and he starts giving boxing expositions, and he's known, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's no slouch. They know who he is. Everywhere he go, they know who Old Chocolate is, okay? And November 11th, 1895, he gives one more performance against Nick Burley, and this one also ends in a draw, okay? And the reports say that he had about 100 bouts, okay? But what was reported was between 44 and 46. That's not saying that it wasn't 100 bouts, because that's probably, once again, that's probably the people that didn't count, or the people that, was nobodies, or, something like that. So I do believe that it probably was 100 bouts, because this is not the first time that I read that. I've read that he had about 100 bouts, maybe 3 times, but it was reported maybe also 3 times that he only did fight 44 times. So I think that maybe it was just because the reporters wasn't really interested in those other people. Maybe I'm just speculating right now. But he wins 23 of his matches. He has 18 KOs under his belt. He has 14 draws under his belt, and he has 3 no contest. Okay, the little punks that chickened out. So 3 of them chickened out, and John Sullivan is definitely one of them punks that chickened out. Okay, so now we go on into 1893, where the name came from. This is when I thought that they was calling him Old Chocolate off the bat, but as I kept on going on, it wasn't until 1893 that they started calling him Old Chocolate. And this was now given to his age. Even though he started out when he was 27, they considered that to be kind of old. Okay, I can understand that. The Old Chocolate part, I can't understand. Because if I'm not mistaken, the man was probably the same complexion as me. maybe the wear and tear of time took on his body. Maybe he was in the sunlight a little bit too much. Maybe he was traveling, different areas, and they was making him a little bit more darker, I guess. Because they said the man was nice. Now, being that he's a prize fighter, two bouts that he did have earned him 10,000. Okay, so he was definitely getting money from prize fighting. Okay, he wasn't just out there knocking heads off for pennies. He was knocking heads off for some money. Okay, and $10,000 in 1897. $10,000 now is a lot of money, but $10,000 in 1897 or 1893 or 1800s. Oh, you was rich. Oh, you was good. Okay. So he then goes on to call Peter Jackson the best in the world. Okay. And he's not the only performer to call Mr. Peter Jackson the best in the world. You have other boxers that say, yeah, he's the best in the world. He's even given a nickname to Black. They started calling him the Black Prince. And the Black Prince is coming up like right after this video. Like the Black Prince is coming. Okay. And what he does with his money is he decides to open up a successful boxing school right out of Boston. And this produces not one, not two, not three, but 7 champions. Okay. And one of the champions actually takes his name. He's basically like Baby Godfrey Jr. pretty much, because he takes his government and he makes this his stage name. I can't remember if his name was George, but I know for a fact that George Godfrey pretty much remained to live because of this performer. Because what George would do was he took his boys with him. He took them from Bang to wherever he went, and he let them see, what it was, what he was doing. And I don't know if all 7 of them actually followed in his lead, but I know for a fact one of them did. And if I'm not mistaken, the second coming up, George Godfrey, actually did win a belt. Okay. And then after he retired, Mr. George doesn't stop. He invests in the gym and he invests in property. So not only does he have the school, but he has the school, he has the gym, and he also has property. I'm talking about like houses, okay, that he built for people. In 1990, he is introduced into PEI sports. This is located in Canada, June 24th. PEI is pretty much like the Hall of Fame of boxing in Canada, okay? And it's still available to this day. It's not just a sports area though. It's also a sports and a museum, and you could just type it in PEI in Canada, and it's going to pop right on up. And from what I've seen, the pictures is really, really nice. Like it's real nice, and that's where they pay homage to Mr. Godfrey in Canada, because he is actually born in Canada. And then his parents divorced in 1901, and George passes away October 17th, 1901, at the age of 48 from tuberculosis or natural causes in Massachusetts. Can't never get that out. Now, my thoughts on Mr. John Sullivan. Mr. John Sullivan, I believe, just didn't want to be, well, it did say that he just didn't want to be defeated by no color person, period. It did not matter. It didn't matter if it was on top. It didn't matter if they was top tier. It didn't matter what it was. He just simply just did not want to lose to a black person. I mean, if I think about it, if I want to be biased, if I'm that person back then, I mean, I'll just go for it. Me personally, I'll just go for it. Because now I got a point to prove that I could beat y'all. But in his brain, it was like, no, what if he can beat me? I'm not taking that loss. And like I said, I don't think he ever did. I think he was too scared of what it would do to his reputation. I think he was too scared to even want to take that step to even fight him. But you refereed. And I think that's another reason why he was scared, y'all. I think he was scared because him being a referee, you actually get to see up close and personal what your opponent is all about. You get to damn near smell the sweat on them. You understand what I'm saying? Like whatever blood they lose, you pretty much get to see the blood. Okay, that's just like with wrestling. When they have the special guests, I remember when Mankind used to referee for like the Undertaker versus the next opponent. You got to really see like what they really was about, and you might be like, yeah, no, I'm not fighting him. Like, I just believe that he understood that I don't have a chance with this man, so I'm not fighting him. And it was a color thing, and that's the part for me that messes me up when it comes down to Mr. George, because he definitely was trying to break down barriers of, you guys heard me say heavyweight colored champion, maybe in my last 3 videos, because it wasn't just about being a heavyweight champion. Okay, it was still racism still was going on. They just got out of the slavery area maybe a few years ago, so they still had this mindset that black folk wasn't crap. Y'all know what I want to say. But they still had it in his brain, in their brain cells, that they didn't want to, be bothered with us. But we can take care of their kids and take care of their house and breastfeed their children and get the knowledge that they wanted from us. But as far as entertaining with black folk, yeah, right. Yeah, no, that's not going to happen. Not today. Well, not then. That's what they were saying. Not today. That's not happening. No, I'm not fighting no black man. For what? Why? So he can knock me out? Or, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't just particularly him being worried about knockouts. It was a simple fact that he was a black man. It didn't matter if he was light skinned. It didn't matter if he was albino. It didn't matter if he was lighter than me. It didn't matter if he was chocolate. It didn't matter if he was brown skin or caramel. He was not stepping in a ring with no type of black colored people, period. And I really do believe that that's the way that he remained, the champ. There's only so many non-colored boxes that's going to come. And once you finish with the non-colored people, fight some black people. I'm not fighting no black people. I'm going to just sit out and wait for the next person to come. That's what Tom did. Tom ain't really fight no black people. You feel me? Like, he fought who he wanted to fight. Being that he done beat up all the England people and all the white people that came his way. Shoot, I'll fight this black boy right here because he don't stand a chance. That's basically what it was. Like, he just was so bored that he just was like, I'll fight a black person. But what's his face? I didn't mean to call him what's his face. But John Sullivan was like, yeah, no, I don't care. If there's nobody else to fight, I'll just wait until it is someone else to fight. Okay? Now, my sources will be in the link below. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to Mr. Old Chocolate. I'm calling him Old Chocolate because that's his name. Old Chocolate, since that's the name that they wanted to give him. I'm around Mr. Old Chocolate. That way, you guys won't get confused about Old Chocolate versus George, because I will be definitely doing a video on George, okay? The other George Godfrey. So I'm gonna just call it Old Chocolate. So if you hear me say Old Chocolate, you know we talking about the original George. George. If you hear me say George, then you know we talking about baby George. Okay? No relation though. All right. So have yourselves a good day. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And I will see you later. And thanks for boxing with TT. See you later.